Have you ever felt forgotten, alive, but as if you were already dead? My name is Dolores. I'm 80 years old, and honestly, I don't know exactly when I stopped being seen as someone and became just another little old lady, invisible in the corner of a room. When I was young, my house was full of laughter, toys scattered on the floor, the smell of freshly brewed coffee and cake in the oven. My children would run through the hallway, and I always said that all that noise was the sound of happiness. My husband, Joachim, was my companion through everything. We were married for 52 years. He used to call me Wildflower, simple, resilient, full of life. Losing him felt like losing a part of my own body. I felt like half of me had gone with him. But I carried on. For my children, for my grandchildren. But time, oh, time is cruel. It erases other people's memories of you, even when you're still here. Today, I live alone in a silent house. My phone almost never rings. When it does, it's just ads. My children say they're busy. My grandchildren live in another world. They visited me on Christmas, stayed 5 minutes on their phones, took a picture with me, and left. That picture was posted on Instagram with the caption, "With the cutest grandma in the world," but no one saw that after they left, I cried for hours. And it wasn't from emotion, it was from loneliness. Sometimes I sit on the porch and watch the street. I see couples passing by, mothers pushing strollers, young people rushing here and there. I wonder if any of them realize I was once like them, that I once loved, fought, dreamed, that I once danced barefoot in the living room with a flower in my hair. Today, my feet barely hold me up, my eyes don't see like they used to, and my heart, well, it still beats. But sometimes I wish it would just stop. No, I'm not asking for pity, I just wanted to be remembered. I wish someone would ask how my day was. I wish to hear my doorbell ring and see one of my children holding a slice of cake and a genuine smile. I wish my grandchildren knew more than just my name. I wish I felt like I still belonged to someone's story. But for now, I remain here, with my photo albums, my old letters, and the hope that one day someone will come back, even if it's just to listen. Even if it's just to remember that I exist. The other day, I slowly sat in the armchair and stared at a cardboard box on the shelf. It was the memory box. Joachim used to call it our time capsule. I opened it slowly, as if opening a treasure. Inside were yellowed letters, a note written in my son's crooked handwriting when he was 7. "Mommy, I love you more than chocolate." It's strange to live so long and still feel like you might disappear without leaving a trace. But deep down, I still want to be remembered, even if by just one person. So, I decided to write letters. I started slowly, one for each grandchild. Not to complain about their absence, not to scold the silence, but to tell them who I was. To show that behind the white-haired, weak-voiced old lady, there was a whole woman who loved deeply, who fought, fell, and got back up, who had fears, joys, and many scars. In the letter to my oldest granddaughter, I told her how I used to dance in the rain as a child, how the earth smelled different, how I came home with muddy feet and a light heart. I told her never to be ashamed of getting dirty for life. In the letter to my youngest grandson, I told him about the day his grandfather proposed to me with a wire ring because he couldn't afford another, and still it was the most beautiful moment of my life. With each letter, I cried, but I also smiled, because for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was leaving something behind. A legacy that isn't measured in wealth, but in memories. Today, I finished the last letter. I placed them all in envelopes with names and dates. They're stored in the same box as my memories. Maybe one day, when this house is empty, someone will find them and read them and understand that Grandma Dolores wasn't just a forgotten old lady lost in time. She was life. She was history. And she still is. Because as long as someone remembers me, I still exist. Today, the day dawned differently. The sky was clear, not a single cloud, and there was a smell of fresh bread in the air. Like the old Sundays, I felt a squeeze in my chest, not from sadness, but from sweet nostalgia. I made my coffee, as usual, set my cup on the table, the one with the chipped rim that I insist on using, because it was a gift from Joaquim on our 30th wedding anniversary. I sat down, as I always do, with the radio playing softly. And then, I heard something that hadn't happened in months. The doorbell. At first, I thought it was a mistake. No one comes here unannounced. I carefully dragged my feet to the door, and when I opened it, I could hardly believe it. "Hi, Grandma." It was Lucas, the youngest grandson, the same one I had written a letter to just a few months ago. He looked different. I couldn't even remember the last time I made a cup for someone besides myself. We talked for hours. He wanted to know everything: how I met Grandpa, what life was like without the internet, how it was to raise kids without a washing machine. And I told him every detail, like someone reliving a life thought to be forgotten. Before leaving, Lucas told me he had a plan, that he wanted to record my stories, that he was thinking of turning it into a project. He said people needed to hear this, that voices like mine couldn't fade away. I just smiled, and for the first time in a long while, my eyes filled with tears, but not from loneliness. It was hope. It was gratitude. That night, I sat on the porch and looked at the sky, and for the first time in many years, I felt seen, not as a dusty memory, but as someone who still has a lot to tell. Maybe I'm not so invisible after all. Maybe, deep down, all I ever needed was for someone to stop and listen. And he listened.